Today is day 70 of 100 random acts of kindness. Last night was a little rough, maybe a little rougher than I let on. I had a lot of pressure in my head, which pressure is to cancer in the brain as a cough is to cancer in the lung. So those are kind of buzzwords when you are in an oncology appointment and somebody says, well, I've had this cough that hasn't gone away. Nobody's really excited to hear that. I'm not excited to say it. And same with pressure in the brain. It's just not really a good sign. So the cancer is in my dura, a word that I just learned, I don't know, last week, whenever it was, 2 weeks ago. So it's the first layer from the skull towards the brain, is my understanding. And that has caused a lot of pain. Last night was confusion. My brain fully understood what was happening, but it was not connecting here. So I was jumbling words. I couldn't find a lot of word retrieval issues, which I've had for months now, but this was like very concentrated. I started to get an aura. My mom gets migraines. So when I was describing it to her, she said that's what it sounded like. It had been a long couple days. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of traveling, so things kind of flying by as we're driving, a lot of engaging, a lot of names, a lot of things to remember. For me, in general, it's emotional for everybody, but for me, my brain just kind of works a little differently now. So last night we were worried to the point where like this isn't normal, but also where do you draw the line with going to the hospital? Do you go every time there's a symptom? Because in that case, I would just live at the hospital even more. Or do we wait until something happens? And I think those are the two extremes. Do you go too early and they say, well, you should have stayed home and we could have saved ourselves 6 hours? Or do you hold back and then things get drastically worse very quickly, or to the point where it's too late? So these are the kind of two sides of things. Keith is back home. I'm with my mom. Keith and I make decisions like this all the time. So I called him and kind of said, can you listen to me for the next 5 minutes? How's my speech sound? I had my eyes closed the whole time because of this aura. It was a bit crazy. So, in not knowing what to do, I went to high school with a girl who has been very good to me since I've had cancer, in terms of she's done like runs in my name. She's checked in on me. And we haven't seen each other, I don't think, since high school. I can actually think of one time since I've been home. She's in Toronto, I'm in Ottawa. But since we were both home at the same time, I ran into her and said hi, but we have not maintained a relationship, follow each other on social media, etc. And so, again, messaged each other a few times and been in contact, but haven't seen each other. So last night I thought, you know what? She is an oncology nurse at a prominent hospital. I am sending her a message. So it's Saturday night. I'm pretty sure she wasn't working. And, you know, like I said, it's not like we're best friends. And I messaged her and said, I don't mean to be a jerk, but I need some help here. And so kind of gave her a really quick version of my symptoms. She didn't know, I didn't tell her about my blood counts just because I didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking clearly. My hemoglobin's really low. My platelets are low. My neutrophils are low. Everything's friggin' low. And so she was really good. She didn't say either way. She didn't say, no, absolutely don't go in. She didn't say, no, absolutely stay home. She just kind of validated the ways that we were thinking. It wasn't, I told her some of the confusion and word retrievals that kind of led down one path. I told her other things that kind of led down another path. And so between her expertise, my mom, Keith, myself, and kind of all the symptoms and things that were coming and going and whatever, we decided to stay home. I'm glad I made that decision. I woke up, well, I didn't make that decision. The four of us made that decision. I woke up in the morning and felt, oh my gosh, so much better. The pressure was way down. And even tonight, it would have been around this time last night that this happened, and I still feel like 20% of what I felt last night. It was very, very, very tough, actually. So to Amanda, you are just such a gem, and I thank you so much, because I know to you, I tried to thank you a number of times in the last 24 hours, and you said, oh no, please use me and contact me. But for us, we don't have the medical side of things. I know my body better than anybody, but I don't know necessarily the medical side and at what point, kind of what means what at what point. And to anybody who's watching this thinking, okay, how does that apply in my life? We all know one of the following: a nurse, a doctor, a pharmacist, any oncologist, a radiologist, anybody who could kind of work in a hospital, even knowing what is available. So it doesn't even have to be a medical professional, but maybe somebody working within the hospital, who can kind of direct you with, well, this hospital has this imaging, this hospital doesn't, that kind of thing. And I just, people who you don't necessarily think of in those situations. Keith's cousin, Jean, who is an extraordinaire of everything, a generous extraordinaire, that's not a word I realize, but she is, I don't know a paramedic. I couldn't think of the word at all. And I thought about her last night too. I thought maybe I should contact her. So anybody in your life who you can reach out to. And on the other side, if you are one of the people who I've mentioned and have somebody like me in your life checking in on them, I'm just really grateful when somebody kind of checks in and says, is everything okay? Or is there anything that I can do? Or please contact me. Even that. Even reaching out to somebody you know who is sick, to say, if you ever need anything, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not an oncologist, or I am one of these things. Contact me with emergency questions or something. And I know there's the whole liability thing and all that stuff, so it's got to be somebody that you trust, and vice versa. But Amanda, you really did put our mind at ease last night, and I'm really grateful for it. So on to tomorrow, which is day 71. My birthday's officially in 30 days. I mean, not much better than that. Talk to you guys tomorrow.